What's good, guys? Blacksmith here. I am going to be talking about the opposite of what I've been talking about for a long time today, and that is low odds, and how just because something is juiced to hell and the odds are low, it does not mean it's a bad play. Obviously, I talk about betting big odds, betting underdogs, betting draw lines, betting underdogs, fading big favourites for two reasons. One, the books often just give favourites very bad value that is not profitable long term to bet. But two, they also do trick you. They have trap lines where they know the underdog is very live or a draw may happen, but they want to make you feel like the favourite cannot lose. And then they will set the line lower than what it actually is, knowingly doing that, by the way, not actually giving a true odd. They do it as a trap line to make you think they can't lose, bang, get it. What I'm talking about now though is when those lines, the ones that look like traps, are actually good value, or when very juiced lines at low odds can be great value still. When it comes to odds, we get stuck feeling like we need to double our money. This is a common thing with sports betting, especially new sports bettors. They want to look for an easy way to double money. If I can just find, this is something I hear all the time, if I can just find one bet a day that can double my money, all my problems would be solved. Yeah, you and the rest of us, mate, because that would make you the richest person in the whole world, on planet Earth. The reason being, if you could double your money every day, think about how quickly your money would go from £1 to 100 million. It wouldn't take long at all. It would take a few months, actually. So that's not going to happen. Your actual ROI, the ROI you should be expecting, I keep saying this, is like 10%. 15% if you're really good, and if you are like elite, 20% or more than 25%. But then that would make you one of the best people doing it out there, in the top 5%. So most of you watching this, if you get good and start doing this for a living, you are going to be making like 5% to 10% ROI. That's the reality. Most cappers will not tell you that because they're trying to sell you a dream that is just ridiculous, which is, 100 times returns. Why would they be selling you picks for $50 a month or whatever the hell it is if they could 100x their money? They don't need your money. Even if they had thousands of sales, it wouldn't matter. They would make way more money just betting. So it's a complete lie, first of all. And this annoys me because people come to my service asking that, every play's going to win, isn't it? No, of course not. Like, no handicapper, even the best ones in the world, win every play. They don't even win every other play. They make, on average, 10% if they're really good ROI. So for most of you out there, that's what you should be thinking. I'm going to make between 5 and 10% ROI. With that in mind, lower odds shouldn't look that bad, because if you can get something, let's say you can get a win at 1.60 odds. That one win, the return it would give you, so if you say you put your entire bankroll on it, that would get you 60 units back, 60% ROI, from a 5 to 10% ROI, 6 to 12 times higher than what the average professional makes. So actually, low odds can be extremely good to bet on. Give you an example, and I nicked this example from Lucrative MMA. James, if you're watching this, apologies, go check his channel out. I actually learned a lot about sports betting through his videos, so shout out to him. But he gives this analogy, and it is the best one. That's why I'm using it instead of just giving another example. He talks about when Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather. That was a lock. Mayweather is never going to lose to a mixed martial artist. I know we've had Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua fighting Ngannou since then. That was a bit of an anomalous situation because they're heavyweights. Ngannou can knock anyone out if he connects with them. He connected with Fury. This situation, Mayweather, he doesn't get hit. He's the best boxer of all time, fighting someone who's never boxed at that level. And he can also take a punch, by the way, Mayweather as well. Not only that, but boxing, the judges scoring are never going to give an MMA fighter the fight, even if he won. So you knew that was a lock. Mayweather closed, I think, at like minus 375. So I think in decimal odds, that's like 1.25, 1.30, something like that, that's still a 25 to 30% return on your money. That's still a better return than what the average is. And it's a lock. That would make sense to max bet. 10 units on that, bang. Free money, essentially. For very low risk. This is how you've got to be thinking about sports betting. You've got to be thinking about your ROI. Obviously, with higher odds, you can get a bigger return and there's less juice in them. So long term, they're extremely profitable. It's how our service works. I'm a safer better, even though I do have some high odds today. I've actually backed Thailand at the moment as an underdog at 3.20 odds. They're up 2-1 against Vietnam. They should have been the favourite in my opinion. But anyway, I'm just giving you an example. I do back high odds plays a lot. I back a lot of underdogs and a lot of draw lines. But I do back lower odds plays as well. Last night, for example, the Red Sox, I had a big bet on them. I bet more than I usually do. I normally am quite conservative, but I bet 1.5 units on them, which is a big play for me with MLB, because MLB is not my specialist sport. But I saw the stars aligned. I also saw a lot of experts whose opinions I trust in my network also agreed with that. You've obviously got a cap for yourself and not just rely on their opinions, but I knew it was a lock. So played it, made some money. Again, with MLB as well, I had another over that hit last night, same thing. So guys, lower odds can be good. There was another one the other day, actually, I backed at 3 units, it was 1.60 odds. Easy win, early payout. Just simple, easy money, guys, at low risk. So don't get fixated on going for the high stuff, just because that's what I talk about. So, also, how do we use low odds plays? Like, what are some of the techniques you can use? Obviously, if you've got a big favourite who's going to win, you can back them, but you're probably not going to get big odds or good odds. The way I prefer to do this in football is with Asian goal line. This technique is one I use a lot, and if you go and look at my bets and my cashes in VIP, a lot of them are done using this method. I did one yesterday, like this for example. Instead of playing over 1.5 goals at really bad odds, or over 2.5 at higher odds, that's higher risk, I play over 2 Asian goal line. And I play that with 2 games. In football, I think the most common score is 1-1. So what this means is, if you have a game that should go over, and for whatever reason, that last goal or other goals don't come, generally speaking, a 1-1, a 2-0 result is fairly common. That is a push, that's a refund. So instead of your play losing, you get a refund and you get profit if the other one hits. This technique works extremely well. I don't know why more people don't do it. Most people don't seem to use Asian lines. I think it's an incredible tool for betting. It can make you a lot of money. Also Asian handicap, because instead of taking the win, you can take the -1. What that will give you is better odds and you get a refund if they only win by 1 goal. So with big favourites, this is a way to do it. Also, bet team to win at half time if they're a big favourite and they should win early. Look at their history. Do they score a lot of goals early? In this matchup historically, do they get off to a quick start? Does the other team concede goals in the first half a lot? And do they score, the favourite, do they score in the first half a lot? You don't want just one side. You don't just want, say, to lay your bet because one team usually scores in the first half. You want to lay that bet if also their opponent concedes in the first half. Then together, you've got a very good bet. I do this with women's MMA a lot. I bet the over 1.5 or the fight to go the distance, but I only do it when you've got 2 fighters who don't often get finishes or who are good at surviving. Combine those together. I actually talked about this the other day. I talked about how I actually laughed and thought, that's ridiculous. That's such a stupid technique because obviously it's minus EV. That's how I used to think when I was getting into sports betting. And then I saw people kept winning using this technique all the time. And eventually I accepted that I didn't know it all and maybe they were onto something. I've cashed so many plays. The last few weeks, actually, most of my biggest cashes have been through parlays backing these types of bets over 1.5 rounds in fights where both fighters should be able to survive, or where they're going to grapple each other against the cage for a round or a round and a half. And if a finish does come, it's going to come later on. This is easy money, guys. Low risk, You don't want to have more than, I would say, you don't have more than 2 options. Maybe 3, depending on what you're betting on. If it's an over in MMA, for example, it's a bit safer than betting a football match if you're taking a big favourite or something like that. Because if you have 3 options, the chance of one of them just not showing up is quite high. But with the overs in MMA, it's fairly easy to predict once you get 2 fighters who both trend to go over or their skill sets nullify each other. So start using this technique, start using the Asian goal line, and you can mix it up, guys. You can have the Asian goal line over 2 to bump up other plays. This weekend, I've got a max bet on the UFC. Some people joined the VIP and they didn't get the line value. So I got this fighter at 2.30 odds. They are now at 1.80. So for the VIPs who joined, we just doubled with another game. So another over 2. I think it was over 2 Asian goal line from Man City a week or 2 ago. And that bumped the odds up. I think we got over 2 to 1. So 3.12 decimal odds. And then we combined it with another fight, which is a lock. Easy money. If you can find spots to do this, mixing different sports together, when you find one of those plays like an over 2 in a game that should have 4 goals, you combine it with another bet that you're quite confident with, you're going to get big odds. If you do that regularly, you will see quickly that your profit will skyrocket. It will just shoot up a lot higher than normal because you're just compounding it. You're taking 2 bets that are very secure, and instead of getting terrible odds, you're getting 2.5 decimal odds, you're getting 2.2 decimal odds. Turning low risk bets into plus money bets. Do it like that. This weekend, got a max bet, more than a max bet actually, a super max. I've got 7 units on one fighter fighting in the UFC. You can sign up and get that bet and my whole UFC card. You can actually get it for £20. I'm just going to sell it individually. But that's terrible value. You're better off signing up to my VIP service. I charge £75 a month. For that, you get my group and you get my football tipsters. He's on a roll. He had, 34 units profit last week. He absolutely smashed it. Last night, he hit a 10 to 1 bet and a 12 to 1 bet on the NFL. And he hit a 7 to 1 as well and had, I think, 2 others at 3 to 1 odds. He's the long shot master. I'm more of a conservative bettor who has smaller odds bets, around about even money a little bit more. And then for the UFC, I have some big props, some big parlays. But for football, he's just unbelievable. We also had some horses that hit. Without going into too much detail, there are tracks in America who don't update their odds quick enough, so the books in the UK are slow, so we get horses at really good odds. We've been making a fortune back in them. And also, another market we found, 2 markets where the odds are wrong. South American leagues, they frequently give an underdog value to a team that should be a favourite. Also rugby, try scorers, those are always priced incorrectly. We make a fortune betting on those. So if you want to make some money, go into the link in the description, join the free group, send me a message. You can see in the messages, in the pinned messages at Blacksmith MMA. That's how you get hold of me through Telegram, and sign up to VIP. We're going to make a ton of money this weekend. We made loads last week. Week before and the week before that, we were on a crazy run. We had over 100 units between the 2 of us, multiple weeks in a row. So let's go. The end of the streak came last week with 34 units. So for us, 34 units is a bad week, which is crazy. So that just shows you what sort of success we're having. This weekend and for the UFC, we always target 10 units profit for every card. Anything less, I consider that a failure. So join, sign up. I've got a free play for the UFC posted in the free group now. And let's go, guys. Let's make a ton of money again.